was a young girl, scarcely 16. Thanks to my parents, lots of places I've seen, but never a place that I love as well as my Burgeo home 'neath the maiden tea hill. My Burgeo home, that heaven of mine, the home of my parents, so loving and kind. I love them so, and I always will. And my Burgeo home 'neath the maiden tea hill. The harbor's so pretty in the morning sunshine, as the seabirds and robins their sweet notes entwine. The fishing boats shine in the water so still, here in my home 'neath the maiden tea hill. When I had trouble or if I was sad, I always found comfort from good friends I had. They knew that I loved them and I always will. And my Burgeo home 'neath the maiden tea hill. My Burgeo home, that heaven of mine, the home of my parents, so loving and kind. I love them so, and I always will. And my Burgeo home 'neath the maiden tea hill. With our fishery failing, I may have to roam. Dear God, how I'd hate to leave my dear home, but each night in memory, sure I'll see it still. My Burgeo home 'neath the maiden tea hill. My Burgeo home, that heaven of mine, the home of my parents, so loving and kind. I love them so, and I always will. And my Burgeo home 'neath the maiden tea hill.
Good evening. Welcome to This Week in Review. Tonight's stories include an interview with our MHA David Gilbert. The driving examiner was in Burgeo on Wednesday. The grad class held a car wash on Tuesday. A.J. Matthews School held its science fair on Friday. A bedtime story hour was held at the library. Stay tuned for these stories and more coming up after this.
At Participaction, we've uncovered a national conspiracy. It's a plot with many partners out to hijack your body and mind, with thousands of thrilling, active living opportunities for you that are easy, accessible, and hard to resist. We've cracked the secret code. It's Summer Active. In your neighborhood, May 15th to July 15th. Summer Active. Watch out for it. Participaction.
Renewing one's driver's license is not as easy as dropping it in the mail anymore. The new photo driver's license requires that an individual visit a branch of the Motor Registration Division to have their photo taken. Joe Barry and Sam Alexander of the Motor Registration Office in Stephenville visit Burgeo on a regular basis to do photo IDs as well as written and road tests. I spoke to Joe Barry on Wednesday to find out more about the new photo driver's license.
Your new photo driver's license is basically it's like a plastic card, like a credit card. It contains your picture along with your name and address and the same information as appears on your current driver's license.
What is the cost of the new photo driver's license?
The new cost, well, the annual driver's fee remains unchanged, but the total cost will increase because the renewal period has been increased from 3 to 5 years. For example, a Class 05 license that costs $48 will cost $80 for a 5-year period, or $16 per year.
What other purposes does the photo driver's license serve?
The photo license are recognized worldwide as a legal form of identification. In this province, they will also be used for purposes of identification of those of legal age for purchase of cigarettes or liquor.
Can anyone come in any time to get their photo license done, or do you have to wait for your renewal?
Well, we prefer that you wait for your renewal to come. There is cases that, of course, due to lost license, such as out of wallet or people, the wives, washing them out and whatever. In cases like that where you need to have a renewal, you'll come in and we will do a photo identification license for you. The cost of, I think it's $15.
How often do you visit Burgeo?
Well, we try to get down in a month at least every second Wednesday. That's our day down here. So basically we do it on the first Wednesday and the middle Wednesday. Now that's not etched in stone. We will come down as per need as well. Like we'll come down and monitor it, and then if a day comes where we know that it's going to be really hectic, we could probably come down, say probably the last Friday in the month, or we'll pick another day to come down. Normally, a shot for your station, we usually put that over your broadcasting here and Ramia, so they know well in advance what time we're going to be down.
Okay, in addition to the photo IDs, you also do written and road tests. How does someone go about getting a study guide for the written test?
Well, basically, we supply those here at our office, and when they come down, it's a road user's guide. It's a fairly extensive book, and it's really good. The thing about this is that in order to pass a written test, you have to read this. And this book is a wonderful book because when you're reading it, it will actually show you in colored pictures as such. I don't know if it's the right word, pictorial or whatever, but I mean it will explain to you just your parallel parking and your U-turns and the stuff you should know while you're driving. And it's a real good book. But if you don't study it, you will not pass a written test.
Okay, so it's not like the book you had before whereby you could memorize the 100 questions, come in, write your test, and pass it without really understanding it.
No, that's far from it. No, far from it. If you're just coming in and just take a shot at it and hoping you'll pass, you can forget about it. There's too much in this book that, or I should say, yes, in this book here that has changed over from the last one. I mean, there's certain things that are in here that you won't find in the old blue one. And of course, it's on our new written test.
Okay, when a new driver gets their permit, what should they know before they take to the roads?
Well, basically, if you're in around this area here or any other area that you go to, basically you should find out what the speed limit is. Stop signs are very important. Your intersections, they say that most accidents are caused at intersections, so while you're out driving, you should find out where the busy intersections are at, what kind of intersections they are, like if they're just like a T intersection or if they're a H intersection. Speed limits, stop signs, yield signs, intersections, and you should be very, very careful of the walking public, and especially children on bikes.
Okay, what is the success rate for this area?
On the average here would be about a 60-40. People here are very, very cautious, very courteous. The speed limit here, in my opinion, is probably a little bit more slow than normal centers, but I've discussed it with one RCMP chap that was here, and I suppose they came to the conclusion with the great amount of children, like in our Main Street play area here, I can see why it's so low, because you come here, say, at dinner time or whatever, and you must say, you've really got to do the speed limit. So I guess that's why it's so low.
Okay, Mr. Barry, can you tell us what Mr. Alexander is doing here with the computer?
Well, this lady here just passed her written test, and right now we have to put her online so that she will be eligible to get a beginner's license. And of course, beginner's license will come out as a picture ID, like we were saying. And what happens here now is Mr. Alexander, Inspector Alexander, is going to put her on the system here. And we'll take a picture of her. And as you can see here on the screen, the name, address, all the information is taken here. And when he gets all that done, we'll take a picture of this lady here. And at the end of the day, we'll uplift, it's called. We'll just, everybody that's into our, we did at the end of the day, we'll uplift on the system through the telephone. And what will happen is that the mainframe in St. John's will come up with the picture, information, and then it will distribute it to other voter registrations. And of course, when they get it, it's sent out to the people that have successfully did their written test. And in a few minutes now, you'll see where when we get the information put into it, and we'll take a photo of it, you'll see how it comes out of your camera. Can see. I was going to mention to you too, identification cards can be taken to our department here as well. If somebody is coming in and they whatever age, all they have to do is bring in a baptism or a birth certificate with them, and for a fee of $20, we will give them an identification card, regardless if it's 10 or 90. If they just want a identification card, we can do this for them as well. Some people like to have their children, like when they go on trips and whatever, to United States or foreign lands, some identification for their youngsters. And for a fee of $20, we will provide this for them.
Okay.
As you can see now, the picture is up on our camera. We take a still and then we frame it in. This will be the actual picture that will come out on your driver's license. I say ID driver's license. That's why, because you can use your driver's license as an ID for anything, because it's, like I said, it's worldwide. And now right here is we get a signature of this lady here, and that's also put right into the main frame here. And
so is that the actual signature that will show up on her?
Oh yes, yes, we should.
On Tuesday, the grad class at St. John Central High held a car wash on the town hall parking lot. From 11 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. on Tuesday, members of the grad class washed cars inside and out. Fortunately for them, the weather cooperated. The money raised from this car wash will be used to offset the cost of this year's graduation. Wednesday night, children were invited to put on their pajamas and bring a bedtime friend to the public library for a bedtime story hour. We sent our camera along to see how the children enjoyed the stories.
Okay, this book is very quiet and noisy book. Okay. Muffin, the little dog word everything, has been asleep all night. Quietly, something woke him up. Very quiet noise. What could it be? Was it an ant crawling? Now, ant don't make very much noise, does it, when it crawls? Was it a bee wandering? Would you think a bee would make very much noise? I don't think so. Yeah. Was it an elephant tiptoeing downstairs? Do you think an elephant could be quiet coming downstairs? Oh, I don't think so. A great big huge elephant. No. Was it butter melting? Is butter a quiet noise? Do you think? I think so. Butter don't make very much noise when it's melting, does it? No. Was it a blue flower growing? Can you hear a flower growing? No. Was it a skyscraper scraping the sky? stop her sneezing? Oh, that's pretty quiet, isn't it? Was it a mouse sign? Do you think you would hear a mouse if it went? And do you think you could hear that if a mouse did it? Was it a fish breathing? That's quiet, isn't it? It was a very quiet noise. Such a quiet noise. Such a quietness. It was a very quiet noise. What could it be? As quiet as someone eating currant jelly. As quiet as a little kitten lapping up milk. As quiet as a bird winging, cutting through the air. Quiet as snow falling. Very quiet noise. As quiet as a chair. Quiet as air. Quiet as someone whispering, baby. What do you think?
This is one of several stories that were read for the children's enjoyment at the library on Wednesday.
The sun coming up. That's very quiet, isn't it? Yeah. You can't hear the sun coming up, can you? Oh, I don't think so. It was the morning breeze. It was the bird chirping over in her nest. It was the rooster opening up his mouth to crow. It was Dad. It was a wheel turning half around. Look at all the quiet noise. What would be a loud noise? Let's see if we can hear a loud noise there. A milkman whistling to his horse. Do you think that would be loud? Sometimes it could be loud. What would be some loud noises you would hear outdoors?
I know. A dog barking.
A dog barking?
Yeah, and the clock rings.
Yeah, okay, the alarm clock ringing. What else would be a loud noise?
And telephone.
And a telephone ringing. Alicia, what would be a loud noise?
And people clapping.
Somebody having their music turned up really loud. Shayna, did you say something? A duck quacking. Yeah. But just listen now. A television turned up loud. Yes, Monica.
A door shut.
Okay, what would be a quiet noise?
Oh, yeah. Sun coming out.
Someone whispering to someone else. Alicia.
Sun coming out.
Yeah. A mouse would be very quiet. And the sun. Shelley, what would be a quiet noise? And the moon coming up. What else would be quiet? A teddy bear sitting on your bed. That's a quiet noise, isn't it? So this was a very, very quiet book, wasn't it? Yes.
Thanks to the help of volunteers like Marie Rose that these story hours at the library are possible.
Teddy bear a hug. That's not quiet. Read his best.
There are a number of grocery and convenience stores in Burgeo, but until recently we did not have a large franchise store in our community. All that changed when Burgeo Food Center was purchased by Gord Ingram and converted into a Foodland store. Gord, what inspired you to open a Foodland store here in Burgeo?
Well, I guess first, having worked with TRA Newfoundland for the last 15 years, that I was told back in January, February of last year that eventually there would be no sales rep in this area from TRA Newfoundland. And having worked on the road the last couple of years, seeing the Foodland operation, that it was, once I seen it working, that I thought it would be a great thing for this area. So I looked into this store, and the previous owners were ready to move out, and I guess I came along at the right time and started looking into purchasing this particular building.
Okay, what changes have you made to the store since you opened it?
We've made pretty well 100% changes to the store. We gave it a complete facelift. Painting, we changed the colors on the walls, we changed the colors on the units, the coolers, the cash registers, the checkouts, the old works of it. We put in colors with particular departments. Two of the really good changes that we made, and that was that we introduced the fresh meat section, and we also the bakery, we did some changes to the bakery, and we got much more of a line in fresh produce. And these, I feel that we can sort of hang our hat on. These are moving well in the area, Along with other changes, we ended up bringing a extra man in the meat mill, which could, get the product out to the customer faster and whatever. The other things we've extended the dairy. We've got bulk displays in the back where cones used to be. That gives people more chance to buy. When it comes to the shelf, they can buy it from the shelf, or if they want to see it back in the end, they get varieties to choose from.
Okay, I understand you have a number of other changes planned for the store. What do these changes include?
Well, the changes, Dave, is not going to happen overnight. We do need a bigger unit for our fresh meat department. We need more units brought in for our frozen foods. Like, I'm not pleased with the frozen food case that we got now. We need a three-tier section because of other lines that we want to get into the section, and we just can't bring them in now. But over the summer, we're looking at that and a few. Well, there is some other changes that just can't be talked about right now, but I think will be very exciting for this area.
Okay, so are you pleased with the response that you've had from the public since you opened the store?
Yes, Dave, I'm very pleased with the public because of the fact that I think that they can see in this area now that they can shop at a fully serviced supermarket. And what I mean by that is that we have fully serviced fresh meats, we have fully serviced meats, and we got our bakery. We offer a delivery service. In several cases, there's 2 vans on a week that if we find that we're busy, and rather than get the customer wait, we put the second van on, or if need be on a busy day. We're also offering our delivery service, like I said, our carry-out service, our phone-in order service, along with these services and a variety of the groceries that they can choose from. That I do think that they are satisfied with the layout and the things that's being offered in this particular building. Yes.
Okay, is there anything else that you'd like to add?
Not really. It's just that we're pleased with the public, and we're trying to provide the service that everybody wants, and because we realize that the customer wants more value for their shopping dollar. And but if there's some way that we can improve, we'd only appreciate hearing from people. And other than that, we do have some exciting things, very exciting things to happen here over the summer, and I think that the people will be even more pleased with what we're offering now.
Please stay tuned for more of This Week in Review coming up after this.
Hi, I'm Chris Cook, the Ambassador at Large of the War Amp Stamp Program. This is the late Carl Helsinger who inspired us with his message, Yes, You Can. This is Astar, our buddy from the planet Danger. He is our friend who reminds us that safety is no accident. And Cool Hand Luke, his message, say nope to dope. We all want to remind you, do your best, have fun, but play safe. A message from the War Amps of Canada.
Students at A.J. Matthews School held their annual science fair in the school gymnasium on Friday. We visited the school to see what the young scientists have developed for this year.
Our experiment is on making change. This is cold water with bread, and this is the hot water, and this is the regular you would use. Well, this is cold. It's starting to rise, but not very much. The warm one's starting to rise pretty good, but the hot one is the best for rising, but it doesn't bake as much. We put in a bit of this yeast and a bit of sugar, and then we stirs it up and mixes it and waits for it to rise.
Where did you get the idea for your project?
We got it from our teacher.
And who's your partner? What's your name and who's your partner?
My name's Jennifer Marks, and this is Biff Ann Ingram. And, well, teacher encouraged a lot of this stuff, and her mother helped us.
Milton Vatzer, Vice Principal at A.J. Matthews School, explained a little about why they have these science fairs.
Students perceive it as fun, and they certainly enjoy the hands-on activities and being able to display scientific experiments and demonstrations that they've worked on throughout the year. And it also gives some students a chance to to be creative and to go out on their own and explore little scientific projects that they wish to explore that they don't always get a chance to explore in the classroom. So it's a fun activity, hands-on, and kids generally like it.
So their experiments are based on what they've learned in their science courses in school?
Yes, it's to some extent. Now, some students now have creativity, and they go out and they go to the library and all kinds of science books in school and at home, I suppose, and they dig through them and sift out experiments and things that they think are interesting that they don't normally cover in school.
Students from grades 4 to 6 participated in this year's science fair with projects on cleaning up oil spills, to volcano power, to making homemade bombs.
Hi, my name is David Gilbert. Our project is called Conductors and Insulators, and in our project we like to show what materials are conductors and what materials are insulators. So copper would be a conductor. Fiberglass, that's an insulator. Corrugated nail, insulator. Aluminum, conductor. Also shell, insulator. Wood, insulator. That's it.
Where did I get for your experiment?
My partner, well, he's gone somewhere. He just thought of it, so that's what we decided to do.
MHA for Burgeo Bay Despair, the Honorable David Gilbert, was in town this past week. During his visit, he stopped by our studio for this interview. Our guest today in the studio is Honorable Dave Gilbert, MHA for Burgeo Bay Despair. Welcome to our studio once again, Mr. Gilbert.
Thank you, David. I'm glad to be back, and it's nice to see you back. I mean, I haven't had the privilege of coming to. I've had the privilege of coming to Burgeo, but I haven't had the privilege of being interviewed since you left. So I'm glad you're back now, and I hope we get some continuity in this. I hope you stay.
Okay, Mr. Gilbert, what's the nature of your visit to Burgeo at this time?
Well, David, it's just a normal visit, that I've been here now for a couple of days to, anyone that wanted to see me. I've been over in the town office, and anyone that had their individual problems they wanted to discuss with me. It's a normal monthly visit that I've been doing for the last 11 years since I've been the member here. So, people want to see the member now, I suppose, from time to time, and if they have individual concerns. So I've had a few people in with some of those concerns, but basically nothing drastic.
Okay, the Burgeo Recreation Commission are planning their 3rd annual telethon to raise money for an arena for Burgeo. Where does Burgeo stand with government with respect to funding for a stadium?
I'd say that Burgeo stands is in a much better state for funding for, government funding for a stadium than they were before, because I was able to point out to the Minister of Tourism, Mr. Grimes, that the policy which the government had in that it had to be a regional facility, in other words, serving more than one place before provincial money would be put into it, couldn't work in Burgeo. There's nowhere, Burgeo is at the end of a 140-kilometre road, and Ramie is 9 miles away over the water. So I believe that the Recreation Commission has received a letter where the minister instructed the people in his department to consider an application from Burgeo on a standalone basis rather than having to tie it into a regional one. So in other words, what I have managed to do is get the province to change their policy so that if when Burgeo is in a position and the funding, they got their funding in place and the provincial funding is there, they will be accepted under the current policy that's there because of the exception that the department has made.
Okay, Sandbanks Provincial Park was scheduled to receive a comfort station this year. Do you know if this project is going ahead?
I don't know, David, if it's going ahead or not. It's one of the things that I know I have requested. It was on the priority, but the funding for the parks haven't been announced, in the individual parks. It wasn't cleared up when the house closed there on the 13th or 14th of the month, but the house will be open again now on the 8th, and I hope to find out something within the first couple of weeks of May as to, I certainly hope it is. But I also understand now that I was talking to Bruce Thatcher of his group were in charge of the green projects here, but I also understand that they have applied for funding to put in a comfort station in the provincial park there. So that, you know, actually it seems like there's a double barrel effect on it now. So I hope that one of us are successful, that either the province will put it in, or they will, under the federal provincial agreement with the Greens Project, put it in. So it seems to me to be a fairly positive thing, and there's a good chance that it will be done.
There's still a number of side roads around Burgeo that are in desperate need of paving. Are there any funds in place to repair these side roads?
The town council, as you know, have their application in for funding, but as I understand it, this year, you know, municipal funding is going to be mighty tight, as there's a lot of, you know, now we're into the budgetary process where, you know, funding for municipal funding is going to be curtailed. But if there is any funding at all for municipal funding this year, I have a feeling that Burgeo will receive some, by virtue of the fact that the finances of the town is in pretty good shape. They don't owe the province any back money, so if there's funding available, I feel positive that Burgeo will possibly be able to get the money. I don't know if they get enough to complete the whole series of roads that need to be, but I'm hoping that they will get some money. And again, you know, depending on budget, as you know.
Government has received a lot of opposition about the new coastal boat service for the southwest coast. Has there been any new developments in that matter?
There's, you know, I have been, you know, I realize there has been some problems. Personally, me as the member for Burgeo Bay Despair, not speaking as a member of government, but as the member for Burgeo Bay Despair, I believe that the government jumped the gun. The government should not have relieved the federal government of the responsibility of providing service in the South Coast. I have made my concerns known to the Premier. Unfortunately, it is now a done deal. I have gone to the communities that are directly affected, like in my district, Grey River, Franceway, and McCallum. Now, I understand that Grey River don't really care because they're hooked up on the provincial ferry service already, and they, you know, feel comfortable with that. The people of Franceway and McCallum have some concerns. Initially, they didn't, but now when they realized that the service is there was concerns about the quality of the boat that they were getting, and now, more importantly, some of the concerns that I'm working on currently is the province took over the ferry service, but I don't think they really put much thought in it. They didn't think about the freight service. So now I'm talking to the province about implementing a freight service. You know, it's all right to say that they're going to, you know, provide passenger service once a week and freight service, but I don't think they looked into consideration that, like Marine Atlantic, had sheds here in Burgeo where if you wanted to ship something to Franceway, you could go down. There was a wharfage there. He wouldn't take your freight, and then it would be loaded on the boat when it came in. There's no provision in what the province are doing now to do anything like this. You know, you'd have to be there on the wharf to hand it aboard when it came in. And this is why, you know, my concern as the member for the district, I don't think that the province put enough thought into it before they took it over. Now, they're now working on it. They realize that there has to be a freight service, because you just imagine, see, when you get people making decisions and they really have never lived here on the coast, they never lived in Franceway or McCallum, they don't realize that everything that they use in McCallum, everything they use, either to eat or build or whatever it is, has to come in on that boat. Now, it's all right that, you know, maybe the stores, you know, the big companies can make arrangement to be down on the wharf to ship freight to the stores in Franceway once a week. But if a fellow orders a Chesterfield sweet from Sears or something like that, and that's dropped off on the wharf down there, and the boat, you know, the fellow comes out to deliver it, and the boat is not there and it drops on the wharf, you know, that could cause a lot of problem. The fellow in Franceway that wants to send an outboard motor to somebody to repair it, and he sends it to Burgeo, and the fellow on the boat offloads it on the wharf, and the fellow's not there to pick it up. So I can see a lot of problems. So now I think that I'm hoping, and I'm working with the province now, I'm working with the government to try and get them to get some of those problems ironed out before the service goes into effect in June. Quite frankly, I feel it was irresponsible what the province did to relieve the federal government of their obligation to provide this service, because under the terms of union, 31A of the terms of union, the federal government guaranteed this service. So it was paid for by the 25 or 30 million Canadians who are subsidising this rate. Now we're down to the point that the government has accepted a $50 million payment, and for all time in the future, it's now the province of Newfoundland's responsibility to provide this service. So in other words, we've shifted the tax burden from the people of Canada, the 30 million of us or so in Canada, to the 500,000 of us in Newfoundland that have to pay that $6 million a year. I think it was wrong. I think we will live to rue the day. The only thing I hope is that, as long as I'm the member, I will be fighting to see that service is maintained at the present the level that they were promised when they took it over.
Okay, Mr. Gilbert, is there anything else that you'd like to discuss today?
Not that I know, David. It's just nice to be back, and I'll be back. I'm hoping over the summer that I'm hoping to get some of the ministers. That I had hoped to get some of them during the Easter break, but it just wasn't convenient because I had to go all through the district, and that takes about 12 to 14 days to get through this district. The Bay of Spear end and then the coastal one in here. But I'm hoping over the summer months to get some of the ministers in here. Particularly, I want to get the Minister of Tourism, Mr. Grimes, and he's sports too, so I want to get him in so that he'll be able to have a look at firsthand what's going on here. I'm hoping to bring the Minister of Fisheries back here again. And I don't know if anyone else, but I'm hoping to get those two in, and if I see a demand for any of the rest of them, I'm going to try to bring them in from the time the house closes now around the end of June until it opens up, about the middle of October. So I'm hoping to give you a chance to interview some of the ministers when they come in and have some questions, some burning questions ready to them about concerns in this district. Thank you, David.
Okay, Mr. Gilbert, thanks for coming in. Our guest today is Honorable Dave Gilbert, MHA for Burgeo, Bay d'Espoir. Burgeo Recreation Commission are planning another arena telethon for Sunday, June 11th. Included in the telethon will be a $500 bingo, a funniest videos contest, a nature video contest, as well as some live entertainment. It's sure to be an enjoyable event, and we look forward to your support. And in case you're wondering, Dick Reeves will be hosting again this year. Well, that's it for this week in review. Please tune in again next week when we'll be speaking to Bruce Vatcher regarding the Greens Project. We'll find out more about cleanup period in our community. We'll have a special Mother's Day treat for you from Linda Vatcher's Grade 3 class, and much more. Until next week, I'm Dave Cooper. Thanks for watching.